This is the weekly roundup on the EAC Cambodia channel. Your look back at the week that was in the Kingdom of Wonder. A very good evening to you. I'm Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and we begin on Monday, the 26th of July. The Minister of Health, who is also chairman of the Interministerial Commission for Combating COVID-19, is urging a national effort to prevent the spread of the highly infectious Delta variant into the community. Mr. Mambun Heng has instructed all 25 of the country's capital provincial governors to educate, train and inform people about the dangers the new variant poses to a country already dealing with the fallout of the 20 February community transmission event. He says a third wave would be a major disaster for the kingdom's healthcare system. EAC news reporter Reo Soko has the story.
The Prime Minister has already signed off on a 6-point strategic implementation campaign to prevent a third wave. The Health Minister says the detection of Delta variant cases at the border require the greatest effort to cut off the transmission line. Mr. Mambun Heng says individuals, families, communities, institutions, and the private sector must all play their part in reducing the spread of COVID-19, most especially paying more attention to the adherence to safety measures, especially the 3 do's and 3 don'ts. He says learning to live with COVID-19 in the so-called new normal is the country's most important strategic action. All capital provincial governors have now been instructed to increase public awareness about COVID-19 via every possible channel and platform. They must also ensure that businesses, especially restaurants, markets, supermarkets, and banks, pay more attention to the implementation of health measures. Those that do not must be closed. The Health Minister also wants every village, commune, and district to monitor the implementation of social distancing of at least 1.5 meters in public places and make sure the ban on gatherings of more than 15 people is strictly enforced. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has again expressed his thanks to Japan for its donation of 1 million doses of vaccine, but this time directly to his Japanese counterpart, Mr. Yoshihide Suga. The first batch of 332,000 doses arrived at Phnom Penh International Airport on Friday evening. The balance of the donation is expected soon. In a message sent on Monday morning, the Prime Minister said he would like to sincerely thank the government and people of Japan for the AstraZeneca vaccines. He says the noble donation deeply reflects the long-standing relationship and excellent cooperation between the two countries, significantly towards the implementation of Cambodia's COVID-19 vaccination program. Japan has provided more than $50 million in grant financing and approximately $230 million in concessional loans. The Prime Minister also highlighted other areas of cooperation between Japan and Cambodia, most notably development of the Sihanoukville Deep Sea Port and National Road 5. He says he was looking forward to working closely with the Japanese Prime Minister, especially at the Asia-Europe Summit, which will be hosted virtually by Cambodia in November, as well as during Cambodia's chairmanship of ASEAN next year. Dramatic footage from around the world this Monday, 26th of July. Let's take a look at those headline-making stories. The impact of a landslide on the other side of the hill. Massive boulders were sent hurling down the mountain. 9 people were killed after boulders hit their minivan. Amazingly, residents whipped out their phones to film the incident rather than fleeing to safety. It was only a matter of time before the Batsiri Bridge was destroyed. The falling rocks also damaged nearby vehicles. Rescue teams rushed to the scene, but apart from the people killed in the minivan, only 1 other person was injured. Barely 10 days after floods hit southeast Belgium, killing 37 people, a flash flood hit the southern town of Dinan this weekend. It was the heaviest flooding the town has seen in decades. It was prompted by a 2-hour thunderstorm which turned streets into torrential streams. Fortunately, no one was killed. The nearby town of Anis suffered similar damage, with estimates predicted to be significant. And it was like something out of a Hollywood blockbuster, but for residents of the northwest Chinese city of Dunhuang, it was terrifyingly real. A 100-meter-high wall of sand wreaked havoc on Sunday afternoon. It engulfed the local expressway in seconds and turned the sky orange. Visibility was reduced to less than 5 meters. Local traffic police ordered stranded vehicles to limp off the expressway and stop in service areas. There were no reported injuries. A manhunt is underway for the prime suspect in the brutal rape and attempted murder of a 14-year-old girl in Kampong Speu. Police, the Cambodian National Council for Children, and the Child Protection Unit have all sprung into action while the young victim fights for her life in a Phnom Penh hospital. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has the story.
It was Monday afternoon when the 14-year-old girl was attacked with an axe and raped, allegedly by her neighbor who pretended he needed help. After raping her and attacking her with an axe, he then left her for dead, locked her inside his home, and fled. The young girl managed to call for help and give first responders some details before lapsing into a coma. She's now fighting for her life in Phnom Penh's Konte Bopa Children's Hospital. Deputy Secretary General of the Cambodian National Council for Children, Ms. Sambat Sokontia, told EAC News that she is deeply saddened by the incident. She says the suspect is a 32-year-old man called Mat Mustafa. While a picture of him has not been released, if you know his whereabouts or more details about this case, please contact your local police station, the Cambodian National Council for Children, or the Child Protection Unit. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has been awarded Russia's Order of Friendship. The decree was signed by Russian Federation President Vladimir Putin on Sunday. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has the details.
It was the Russian embassy in Phnom Penh which made the announcement on its Facebook page on Monday. It said the award is in recognition of Prime Minister Hun Sen's contribution to strengthening friendship between the peoples of Russia and Cambodia. This year, the two countries mark the 65th anniversary of diplomatic relations. The Order of Friendship is a state medal established by then Russian President Boris Yeltsin in 1994. It honors Russians or foreign nationals who strive to enhance bilateral relations. Previous recipients include former Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad, former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, and Britain's Prince Michael of Kent. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Well, now for a look at stories making international headlines this Tuesday, the 27th of July. Hundreds of thousands of people have been evacuated in eastern China as Typhoon Infa made a second landfall. It's the 6th typhoon of the season and the second to make landfall in as many weeks after Typhoon Sempaka. Heavy downpours, flooding and strong winds have lashed the coastal provinces of Zhejiang and Jiangsu, as well as Shanghai municipality. Mountain streams have turned into raging torrents. A number of roads have been closed. In Shanghai itself, 279 evacuation sites have been set up to serve almost 30,000 people who have been forced from their homes. To prevent any further flooding, authorities have opened Shanghai's Longquan port floodgate, releasing over 16 million cubic meters of water. COVID fatigue is setting in around the world. Following similar protests in Australia and Tunisia, where the Prime Minister was even sacked, thousands took to the streets of Paris to protest the implementation of a health pass that is being debated in the French Senate. The health pass would give fully vaccinated citizens the right to access indoor venues as well as public buildings. Several protests took place simultaneously near the Eiffel Tower, with the far-right Les Patriotes movement urging people to wake up to what it called discrimination. At one point, French anti-riot police fired tear gas as brief clashes erupted when protesters reached the Champs-Élysées. Across France, protests are being planned in Marseille, Montpellier, Nantes, and Toulouse. And what's being described as an unusually large meteor briefly lit up the skies of southern Norway on Sunday. There were no immediate reports of injuries or damage, but officials are still trying to find out exactly where it landed. The Norwegian Meteor Network is also analyzing other video footage, trying to pinpoint the meteor's origin and destination. Preliminary data suggests it might have come down in a large wooded area about 60 kilometers west of the capital, Oslo. The manhunt continues for the 32-year-old suspect in the rape and attempted murder of a 14-year-old girl in Kampong Speu. The young victim remains in a coma at Phnom Penh's Kantabopa Children's Hospital. While the search goes on for her attacker, the Cambodia National Council for Children is investigating another shocking rape case also in Kampong Speu. This time, it's an 8-year-old girl who was apparently raped several times by her 13-year-old neighbor. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has the details.
Cambodia National Council for Children Deputy Secretary General Ms. Sambat Sukuntia has told EAC News that while the hunt for 32-year-old Mat Mustafa is ongoing, they have received another case to investigate. Also in Kampong Speu, where an 8-year-old girl has been repeatedly raped by her 13-year-old neighbor. She says the girl's mother became worried when her daughter started asking her some strange questions. It was when she asked her what was bothering her that the girl told her the shocking story. She says her 13-year-old neighbor had raped her several times over the previous 2 weeks. The boy has since gone missing. The CNCC, Police, and Child Protection Unit have now launched a manhunt for him. Given his age, we cannot release his name. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
The International Labour Organization, the ILO, says that fewer women than men will regain their jobs after the pandemic. It says women have suffered disproportionate job and income losses over the past 18 months, largely because of their overrepresentation in the hardest-hit sectors, such as tourism and manufacturing. Its research underscored by both the Cambodian Labour Confederation and the International Organization for Migration. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has the story.
The International Labour Organization says there will be 13 million fewer women in employment in 2021 compared to 2019. It says that even though the 2021 projected job growth for women exceeds that of men, it will still be insufficient to bring women back to pre-pandemic employment levels. Cambodian Labour Confederation President Mr. Ath Thorn says that a lot of workers, both men and women, have lost their jobs during the pandemic. But he thus believes that more women are affected because they represent the majority in the manufacturing sector.
I think during the pandemic outbreak, there are a lot of workers are losing the job. For sure, I can imagine that women are more than men because, for example, in garment sector, women is majority women are working. So I can say that during this pandemic, women have more problem than men and losing the job. But it's compared with other sector, men also are losing. So in general, I can say that the job loss is together, but the woman is more.
The ILO research says that in the Asia-Pacific region, the pandemic has seen women's employment drop by 3.8% compared to 2.9% for men. It also says that during COVID-19, women fared considerably better in countries that took measures to prevent them from losing their jobs, like Cambodia, and allowed them to re-enter employment as quickly as possible. Cambodia's International Organization for Migration Chief of Mission, Ms. Christine Parco, told EAC News that during the pandemic, a lot of migrant workers have returned home without knowing how are they going to survive.
Since Thailand began to curb COVID-19 by reducing its economic activities and closed its borders in March last year, more than 215,000 Cambodian migrants have crossed the border from Thailand to Cambodia. During their migratory journey, the migrants and their families, which consists about 53% of women, returned to Cambodia through both official and unofficial point of entry. Their return to Cambodia with no jobs means their family and their host communities can easily slide back to poverty. As demonstrated in the UN joint assessment that was conducted last year, nearly 30% of migrant households have no income at all, and nearly 60% of migrants have no source of earnings in Cambodia. Women migrant workers are more likely than men to have no money. Without support or pursuing income-generating activities or creating new employment opportunities in the communities, the returning migrant might have limited success in integrating into the community and be forced to migrate.
She has suggested that in order to promote gender equality in the workplace, companies should increase the participation of women in decision-making, provide more social protection, and increase capacity development so that these women can enhance and develop new skills. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Well, let's take a look now at news making headlines around the world this Wednesday, the 28th of July. One person has been killed, 16 people are injured, and 4 others are still missing after an explosion at an industrial park in the German city of Leverkusen. Drone footage shows the extent of the blaze, which took over 3 hours to extinguish. The Chem Park facility is home to one of the world's largest chemical companies, Bayer. Of the 16 people injured, 1 is listed as critical. The cause of the explosion is under investigation. A wildfire is tearing through small towns north of Athens. Several homes have already been lost in the town of Rhodopolis, although no injuries have been reported. Officials say it's a difficult fire to contain, with strong winds leading to flare-ups at several locations simultaneously. 310 firefighters, 12 helicopters, and 9 planes are busy fighting the fires. The blaze is bringing back bitter memories of a fire that burned through the seaside town of Mati near Athens in 2018, killing 102 people in just a matter of hours. And almost $2.5 million worth of jewelry has been stolen from a Chaumet jewelry store close to the Champs-Élysées in Paris. In broad daylight, a man walked into the store, pulled out a gun, and helped himself to diamond necklaces, rings, and watches before making his getaway on a stand-up scooter. Chaumet has not yet confirmed exactly how much was stolen. The local prosecutor's office has opened an investigation and is studying CCTV footage from the area. Chaumet is one of France's oldest jewelry brands and is owned by the luxury goods conglomerate LVM. EAC News fully supports the Royal Government of Cambodia's preventative and administrative measures against COVID-19. But we need you to play your part in helping bring the 20 February community transmission event to an end. Wash your hands regularly, sanitize wherever possible. Keep an eye on your body temperature. Use the Stop COVID QR code and maintain a safe social distance. But above all, please, 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 wear a mask. Only together can we beat COVID-19. EART's Cambodia's audience is growing. Our YouTube channel now has 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube, given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates EART's Cambodia's hard work and incredible achievement. She says not only has EART's Cambodia brought a unique voice and style to the world, but has also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to www.youtube.com/eartscambodia. Subscribers get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. We'll see you there. If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of eArts Cambodia's platforms and channels. YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eartscambodia.com. Join me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear. Cambodia is effectively in lockdown from midnight tonight for the next 14 days. The borders with Thailand will all be closed from Friday, and a nationwide curfew will run from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Alcohol sales and dining at restaurants are also banned across the country. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has all the details.
The royal government fears the emergence of Delta variant cases along the border could well mean a third wave of COVID-19 across the kingdom unless drastic steps are taken, and they have been. Late on Wednesday evening, Prime Minister Hun Sen announced a 14-day campaign to strengthen combat measures and prevent the spread of COVID-19. It takes effect at midnight on Thursday and runs through Thursday, the 12th of August. The 8 provinces which border Thailand will be on lockdown, and the borders will have been closed except for the transportation of goods and emergency services. High-risk businesses which have been closed in Phnom Penh since March are now ordered closed across the entire country. In addition to this, alcohol sales have also been banned nationwide, together with a ban on dining in at restaurants. All private gatherings are limited to 10 people. Capital and provincial governors have also been authorized to declare red, orange, and yellow zones as required. There is also a nationwide curfew that will take effect from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. starting on Friday. EAC News took to the streets to ask people what they thought about the 14-day campaign.
I work a night shift, so if the curfew starts at 9 p.m., it's hard for me to travel because every day I have to leave work at 10 p.m. While I support the government's decision, I also have to perform my job.
I'm not really happy with this new curfew. Normally, I go back home at midnight, but now I have to go home early before the curfew starts. I sell here Riverside every day. With this curfew, I am sad that my livelihood will be affected. This is my only source of income.
The curfew will surely affect my income as a tuk-tuk driver. Now I have to go home between 7 and 8 because there will be no people traveling anyway. But still, I support and favor the government's implementation of the curfew to stop the spread of COVID-19. I just hope that things will be back to normal soon.
Many of the capital's residents we spoke to were unaware of the curfew that was announced on Wednesday night. People support the decision but admit they'll have difficulties adjusting again, especially those workers whose jobs end at 10 p.m. or later. Rhea Soko, EAC News, Phnom Penh.
Cambodia will receive its second shipment of COVAX vaccines on Friday morning. A plane carrying 500,000 doses of the single-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine will touch down at Phnom Penh International Airport at around 7:15 a.m. The vaccines have been donated by the United States. 1 million shots have been donated in all. The other half will arrive on Monday morning. And as they say, that's not all. A further 668,000 doses of AstraZeneca from Japan are expected in the coming days. They're part of 1 million doses, the first 332,000 of which were received personally by Prime Minister Hun Sen last Friday. And then there's the UK. It is starting to ship doses of AstraZeneca around the world this week. 415,000 shots of the vaccine are expected in Cambodia over the next few days. All of these vaccine shipments are in excess of the 20 million doses Cambodia already has to vaccinate 10 million of its adult population, which led the Prime Minister to announce last Friday that the kingdom would now aim to inoculate 80% of the population as soon as possible. Vaccinations for children begin on Sunday. Well, let's take a look now at news dominating international headlines this Thursday, the 29th of July. Evacuations are underway in southern Turkey as a massive forest fire continues to spread. At least 50 people have been hospitalized with smoke inhalation. Turkey's Disaster and Emergency Management Agency says teams are being called in from surrounding provinces to help. Plumes of black smoke are rising from the forest around Manavgat, about 75 kilometers east of the resort city of Antalya, which is now also threatened. The city's mayor says he's never seen anything like it. The fire is being fought on 4 fronts by 2 planes, 8 helicopters, and 52 vehicles. The cause of the blaze is being investigated. At least 6 Rohingya Muslims, including children, have been killed and several others have been injured after heavy monsoon rains triggered landslides and flooding in refugee camps in southern Bangladesh. Video footage shows the damage in parts of the Kutupalong refugee camp, with people searching for their belongings. Nearly 1 million Rohingya live in crowded camps in the border district of Cox's Bazar after fleeing a military crackdown in Myanmar in 2017. It is the world's largest refugee settlement. Rohingya refugees mostly live in shacks made of bamboo and plastic sheeting. The flooding has only made their living conditions worse. The Bangladesh Weather Office says it expects the heavy rain to continue for the next few days. And police in Paraguay are showing off the country's biggest ever drug bust. Almost 3,500 kilograms of cocaine were seized near the capital of Asunción, just as it was being stashed in a container of organic sugar for international shipment. The bust exceeded Paraguay's previous bust record of 2,900 kilograms seized in October 2020 in the private port of Villeta. That cargo had been hidden in bags of charcoal. Paraguay is not considered a major producer of cocaine, but it is a transit point for cocaine produced elsewhere in the Andean region. If you thought you were having a bad day, spare a thought for British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who stole the show at an official engagement on Wednesday, but for all the wrong reasons. It was supposed to be a somber event, the unveiling of the UK Police Memorial at the National Memorial Arboretum. But with the weather being typically British, I guess someone was going to have a problem with their umbrella. While Prime Minister Boris Johnson was left looking a little embarrassed, the umbrella malfunction did give the Prince of Wales the giggles. Cambodia has received its second shipment of vaccines through the COVAX initiative. The single-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccines arrived on Friday morning. They were donated by the United States, which has pledged a total of over 1 million doses. Prime Minister Hun Sen has expressed his gratitude to the US for the vaccines, saying they will surely help in the fight against COVID-19 in the kingdom. EAC news reporter Reo Soko was at Phnom Penh International.
A gift from the American people to Cambodians. This is what the U.S. Embassy charge d'affaires, Mr. Ben Volawa, highlighted during the arrival of the country's first batch of Johnson & Johnson vaccines. He says the United States is privileged to be a member of the all-star COVAX team that includes national, international, and non-governmental bodies. With this contribution, he's emphasized that vaccines have provided a way for the United States to reaffirm its long-standing commitment to public health in Cambodia.
The United States has committed $4 billion to COVAX, making it the single largest contributor to the international response to COVID-19. In Cambodia, the United States has provided more than $11 million in COVID-19 assistance since the pandemic first broke out.
He added that since the outbreak, U.S. government health agencies have been working hand in hand with their Cambodian counterparts on surveillance, contact tracing, and research to help stem the spread of COVID-19. Prime Minister Hun Sen has expressed his deep appreciation for the Johnson & Johnson vaccines, describing the U.S. as a friendly country, along with China, Japan, and the United Kingdom, which have also committed to helping supply vaccines to the kingdom.
The second batch of Johnson & Johnson vaccines containing 600,000 doses will arrive in Cambodia on Monday. The United States, through its embassy in the kingdom, has stressed that the over 1 million doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccines are not an attempt to curry favor with Cambodia. Rather, it is only trying to help the Cambodian people in their fight against COVID-19. Rhea Soko, EAC News, Phnom Penh International Airport.
Cambodia will start rolling out vaccines for children between the ages of 12 and 17 on Sunday. Child vaccination centres will open first in Phnom Penh, Kandal, Praia Sihanouk and Koh Kong. The campaign will officially begin with an event at the Peace Palace on Sunday morning at 8, with the Prime Minister's grandchildren receiving their first dose. EAC News will broadcast that event live on our website, Facebook page and on the eArts Cambodia YouTube channel, as well as our app. It will be Sinovac that will be used for child vaccinations. Cambodia will become the second country in the world after China to use Sinovac in children. And as EAC News reporter Rhea Soko explains, Cambodian parents and children have nothing to worry about.
The influential medical journal The Lancet published a study recently showing that Sinovac was both safe and effective in children. Its study administered the vaccine to more than 500 healthy children in China between the ages of 3 and 17, 96% of whom developed COVID-19 antibodies, with practically no side effects other than a little pain around the injection site. The Lancet's findings mirrored those of Sinovac itself, whose own study led the Chinese government to approve vaccines for children between the ages of 3 and 17. In Cambodia, though, it's for 12 to 17-year-olds, and all part of the royal government's efforts to create herd immunity in the country as soon as possible and to reopen high schools. Parents are being asked to complete a consent form when they bring their children to be vaccinated. The health ministry says, just as with the adult population, child vaccinations are on a voluntary basis and are free of charge. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Well, let's take a look now at news making headlines around the world this Friday, the 30th of July. The forest fires along Turkey's Mediterranean coast are spreading. Plumes of smoke filled the air in the coastal resort of Marmaris on Friday, coming perilously close to a residential area. Flames could be seen soaring into the sky near houses and hotels. The fire broke out in the popular tourist destination just as authorities were fighting a separate blaze along the coast, where at least 3 people have been killed. Rescue efforts are underway in the town of Bodrum. Hotels and villages in the area have all been evacuated. Firefighters and civilians are working together to try and bring the blaze under control, with helicopters flying overhead to help. The Turkish Minister of Agriculture says bringing the blazes under control might take time. An investigation is underway into their cause.
I'm very optimistic.
Former Roman Catholic Cardinal Theodore McCarrick has been charged with sexually assaulting a teenager at a wedding reception in Massachusetts back in 1974. McCarrick, who is now 91 years old, was defrocked in 2019 after a Vatican investigation found him guilty of sexual abuse. A report released by the Vatican in November 2020 found that he had risen through the church's ranks despite persistent rumors of sexual misconduct with teenage boys. He was even promoted in 2000 by Pope John Paul II. His attorney says that he's looking forward to addressing the case in court. It's the first time that a US cardinal has been criminally charged with a sexual crime against a minor. And evidence of climate change continues to be seen around the world. It might be winter in Brazil, but it's been over 60 years since snow was seen in the southern part of the country. Cars, streets, and highways are covered with snow after heavy snowfalls on Wednesday night. Excited families and tourists have used the opportunity to play in the snow, building snowmen and taking pictures. At least 30 cities in the state of Rio do Sul experienced snowfall brought on by a polar vortex. EAC News fully supports the Royal Government of Cambodia's preventative and administrative measures against COVID-19. But we need you to play your part in helping bring the 20 February community transmission event to an end. Wash your hands regularly, sanitize wherever possible. Keep an eye on your body temperature. Use the Stop COVID QR code and maintain a safe social distance. But above all, please, please, please wear a mask. Only together can we beat COVID-19. EART's Cambodia's audience is growing. Our YouTube channel now has 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube, given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates EART's Cambodia's hard work and incredible achievement. She says not only has EART's Cambodia brought a unique voice and style to the world, but has also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to www.youtube.com/eartscambodia. Subscribers get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. We'll see you there. If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of EART's Cambodia's platforms and channels. YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website, www.eartscambodia.com. Join me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
It's day 4 of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, and the medal table is already filling up. The standings see China in the lead with 6 gold medals and 13 in total. The Chinese claim victory in the women's synchronized diving and men's weightlifting, among others. Second are the US with 5 golds and 12 medals overall, seizing first places in men's shooting and men's swimming. Host nation Japan is doing great, also with 5 gold medals in the standings. The biggest shock of the weekend, though, came on the basketball court, with the US losing to France and ending a 17-year winning streak at the Olympics, having last lost at Athens in 2004 when they had to settle for bronze. Overall, the Olympic Village is not being the best start, with 127 people testing positive for COVID-19 since the first officials and athletes started arriving. National teams and workers have all been tested in recent days. Monitoring will continue, but despite the situation, people are still euphoric, and regardless of the spectator ban, supporters managed to line the public route of the triathlon, where Norway's Christian Blumenfeldt won gold. Many turned out for a chance to watch international athletes go past, even taking a day off at work. All signs of a relatively positive and safe start of these COVID-plagued Olympics. The contemporary art scene is growing in Cambodia. Young artists are blooming and businesses are picking up on the trend, commissioning works by artists tapping into the country's extensive cultural heritage. One art space in Phnom Penh has just held the city's latest art exhibition, and EAC News went along. Saturday saw the final day of the Pen Art exhibition at FT Gallery, with dozens of local and international artists showcasing their drawings, paintings, and photos. Sustainable sculpture was also present, with a few pieces made from reused materials. EAC News spoke to FT Gallery's general manager, Kentang Konesa, who let us in on his perspective and the space's purpose. He says FT is an art gallery with a focus on street art and contemporary art run by and for artists. For Canton, what's important is offering the people of Phnom Penh something fresh and new. The idea is to create experiences for the visitors, exposing them to something that will trigger some inner reflections and curiosity. Many other smaller spaces are slowly opening in Phnom Penh despite the pandemic, and we're sure the contemporary art scene is here to stay. It is a great day to be from the Philippines or more unlikely, Bermuda. The two countries have made history at Tokyo 2020 after winning their first ever gold medals. Weightlifter Hidilyn Diaz entered the history books on Monday, becoming the first athlete from the Philippines to win gold at the Olympics. Philippines first competed in the 1924 Games, but until Monday had never stepped up onto the highest point on the podium. The 30-year-old even set an Olympic record, lifting a combined weight of 224 kilograms to take gold in the women's 55 kilograms class. Bermuda also won its first gold medal after Flora Duffy won the triathlon in her fourth appearance at the Olympics. Bermuda is now the smallest nation or territory to win an Olympic gold medal at the Summer Games, having a population of just 63,000. The medals table has seen a big change, with host nation Japan taking the lead with 11 golds and 20 medals in total. The Japanese team seized first places in the men's judo and women's softball. China and the US complete the medal table podium for now. In the meantime, some events are having to be rescheduled, with storm battering Japan's east coast remaining a threat to the Tokyo Olympics. Several events have been moved to Thursday, but the storm is expected to spare Tokyo the worst of it, as it heads northwest away from the capital. The writing is in the sky for fireworks. Long the bane of pet owners and environmentalists, firework displays could soon be a thing of the past. New drone swarming technology could offer a future of much quieter and more dynamic celebrations of light. British drone display company Celestial can fly as many as 300 drones in formation. They say the technology is developing so fast that we might soon be able to replace fireworks with high-quality flying images. He says that although we all love fireworks, they do tend to blow things up, are single-use and can terrify animals. Regulations are also becoming more stringent, with governments in India and in China trying to limit the number of fireworks set off during celebrations like Lunar New Year and Diwali. More recently, Celestial has teamed up with Greenpeace to promote more environmentally responsible light displays. And while perhaps not as flashy as fireworks, you have to admit these are a lot more beautiful. In Cambodia, you need permission to fly drones in Phnom Penh and at Angkor, but no one is stopping you from having some fun in the countryside and trying out your own drone swarm of light. The Tokyo Olympics are closing out their first week, and Cambodia's Olympians are gearing up for action. Hempuk competes in the men's 50-meter freestyle and will be followed shortly after by Kum Bompich Morakat in the same discipline in the women's category. The 50-meter freestyle competition is being held at the Tokyo Aquatic Center. It's divided into 3 rounds: heats, semifinals, and finals. The top 16 swimmers from the heats will advance to the semis. From there, the top 8 finishers will advance to the final. Both Cambodian athletes are young, with Bompich Morakat being only 14. They are representing the kingdom in Tokyo along with Sokong, who is running in 100-meter sprint tomorrow. Chef de mission Bachamran says that no one is expecting medals for Cambodia, but athletes should beat their personal best and hopefully set new national records. Swimming has helped China reclaim the top spot on the medals table again, bringing home 2 gold medals to go top with 15 golds and 32 medals in total. Host nation Japan follows in second position, also with 15 golds. The US completes the medals table podium. If you're looking for the ultimate high adrenaline experience, look no further than the province of Hunan in China. Straddled between 2 cliffs, a 430 glass bottom suspension bridge offers the world's highest bungee jump. The Zhangjiajia Grand Canyon Glass Bridge, which opened in 2016, stretches over a valley in the beautiful Zhangjiajia Park, said to have inspired the scenery for the sci-fi movie Avatar. Visitors can take a leap from a height of 260 meters, a stomach-stirring plunge that takes in views of the surrounding UNESCO World Heritage Site. The bungee jumping operation recently reopened with COVID restriction easing in Hunan. Operator Johnny Dicker's business has been building slowly back as domestic tourists begin to return to the region after a drop in international tourism. He says they are probably average 20 jumps a day. But jumps this high and the bragging rights don't come cheap. If you're looking to buy a ticket, even with the current discount, it will still cost you around $300.
One person died while 23 buses got burned after a fire broke out at Kroi Changvar district in Phnom Penh Friday afternoon. The fire rages the terminal of Virac Buntham buses owned by Mr. Su Virac. According to the investigation by fire and police units, the fire started at around 3:30 in the afternoon. Due to the strong wind, it quickly burned more than 20 of the buses and trapped one person that was killed. Police and fire investigators have difficulty in identifying the victim burned during the fire incident. They are also investigating as to what was the cause of the fire and the total value of the properties destroyed. The fire was put out after 2 hours of fighting, and no houses were reported damaged during the incident. The additional 1 million doses of Sinovac vaccines have arrived in Phnom Penh International Airport on Saturday. The vaccines were purchased by the royal government of Cambodia from China. Apart from the vaccines delivered, China has also provided 300,000 rapid antigen test kits as a donation to the kingdom. Ministry of Health Secretary of State Ms. Yuk Sambath says that the Sinovac vaccines will be used to vaccinate children aged 12 to 17. The children's vaccination campaign will officially start on Sunday to be conducted in Phnom Penh and the provinces of Kandal, Preah Sihanouk, and Kokung. Prime Minister Hun Sen will officiate the opening ceremony of the children's vaccination on Sunday at the Peace Palace. It is expected that he will bring his grandchildren for the vaccination, together with the other children of Cambodian leaders. EAC News Team will be covering live the opening ceremony at the Peace Palace that can be watched both from Facebook page of EAC TV and EAC YouTube channel. It can also be viewed through EAC News app that can be downloaded from Android phones. The live coverage will start as early as 7:30 in the morning on Sunday. According to Ms. Sambath, that by middle of August, Cambodia will already have a total of 26 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines, both purchased and donated. She has added that with the 26 million doses expected next month, it will inoculate 13 million people in the kingdom, or over 80% of the 16 million total population. Currently, Cambodia has now nearly 19 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines in stock through purchases and donations, 6.2 million doses of Sinopharm, 11.5 million doses of Sinovac, 656,000 doses of AstraZeneca, and 455,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson. The United Kingdom has also pledged to donate 415,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines, expected to arrive either in August 3 or 4. As of yesterday, over 7.2 million adult people have got their first dose, or 72.33% of the planned 10 million people for the vaccination. Among them, more than 4.7 million have been fully vaccinated.
Thank you for watching the weekly roundup here on the EART's Cambodia channel. More from the EAC News team in the Daily Roundup, Monday night at 8. I'll see you then.